be cooking a Jamaican delicacy, ackee and saltfish with bami. It is a meal that families love and enjoy together. It is very near and dear to my heart. So stay tuned to find out how it's done. Okay guys, before we start cooking our codfish, which is this, it's just dried codfish. It's salted and it's very dry, as you can see. There's no moisture on my fingers. Before we go ahead and do that, we have to rinse it several times to get rid of some of the salt. Some persons prefer to soak it overnight. I prefer to soak it for about an hour or so, and then afterwards I'll boil it several times before I finally prepare it how I like it. Okay guys, after soaking my saltfish for about an hour and rinsing it thoroughly, I'm now going to drop it in the water to boil for about 30 minutes. Then I'll drain the water and put it to boil again to get rid of the excess salt. Okay, so here I have my bami cakes. As you can see, it's very dry and bread-like, you know, and it's toasted on both sides. This is how it comes in the package. And now I'm going to cut these. As you can see, it's very hard and compact. So pieces like this size, you know, you can drop it in the milk. After a while, of course, you can add a little bit more milk. See, I have way too much bami in my bowl. I'll just add a little bit more milk. Make sure your hands are clean before you even start preparing the meal. And you just allow it to soak for about, let's see, about 30 minutes. Allow it to soak for about 30 minutes. Now I'm going to add some ackee to it. Now ackee cooks very quickly, so you will need to cook it on a low flame. Boil the ackee for about 15 minutes. Okay, over medium heat, you're going to place your skillet on the stove and add a little oil at the bottom of the pan. Allow it to heat up for about a minute or two. Place your bami to fry. We don't want to overcrowd the pan, so we'll just put about 5 pieces at a time in the pan, and we'll allow this to get golden brown before we turn it to get golden brown on the other side. While our bami is being fried, we're going to drain our ackee. Careful with it. Look at that, so beautiful. Now you can either run some cold water on it, which I'm about to do, just to prevent it from cooking further. You don't want it to become too mushy, so you can just run some cold water on it, so it will stop the cooking process. Drain this thoroughly to ensure the excess water is drained off it. Okay guys, our bami is ready to be flipped, and you can make it more golden brown if you wish. This one is perfect. Here I have some salt and pepper. I'm just going to sprinkle some all over the bami. As soon as I turn it, I season that side, just to add a bit more flavor. Perfect. So these are done. I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the pan. Perfectly done on both sides. And there you have it. So my codfish is done boiling for the second time, and now I'm going to rinse with cold water. We just want we cool it down because we want to be able to handle it. We have to flake the fish, so I'll show you how to flake the fish. So we have to ensure that it's cool enough to handle. While I was prepping the other items, I went ahead and gathered all my ingredients for the ackee and saltfish. I have some salt and pepper. We're going to use that, just a little bit of that, as we did not add salt to the ackee. I have some tomatoes and onions. I have some bell peppers, red, yellow, and green. And I have my herb mixture: thyme, parsley, and cilantro. Now I'm going to flake the fish. You just break it apart. And you can break it apart as small or as chunky as you prefer. I prefer a little bit of chunk, but not too big. You can give it a little rinse. Again, if it's too salty, don't be afraid to try it. This is about how big I like my saltfish. So this is enough. Alright, now in a clean skillet, I'm going to add some oil. Not too much, just enough to saute the peppers and onions and tomatoes. That's enough. Alright, allow that to heat up. Just in about 3 minutes it will be hot. Alright, as you might be able to see, my skillet is hot, so I'm going to go ahead and add my tomatoes and onions. I'm going to give that a quick stir. And we're going to cook this enough for the onions to caramelize a little before we add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, it's time to add our peppers. Look at how beautiful that is. It smells so good in here. Alright, I'm going to allow that to cook. Okay, now it's time to add our saltfish. Now we're going to add our herb mixture. Just about a teaspoon of the herb mixture. It's very strong, so you don't want to go heavy on that. All right, allow that to cook up before you add the ackee. Okay, the saltfish has already finished cooking, and now I'm going to add the ackee. The reason I add the ackee at the very last minute is because it's very easy to get mushy, and you know you have to let it stay until the absolute last minute. I went ahead and added some chili powder and some scotch bonnet pepper sauce. It's very spicy, so be very careful with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir. Now I'm going to add the ackee. I'm going to be very gentle and incorporate the saltfish with the ackee. It depends on how salty the codfish is. You may or may not want to add additional salt to it. I did not go ahead and add any salt because the saltfish is still a bit salty. Alright, once it's properly mixed, just leave it and allow it to cook a little bit more. Should be good in 5 minutes.